What up, y'all? It's your friendly neighborhood indie rapper, Open Mike Eaglin. Oh my God, I'm tired. I'm tired. The world is ass. I'm about to go on tour, and then the most diabolical things keep unfolding on Beyonce's internet, and I'm quickly running out of patience with all of it. This is Open Mike Editor here with a quick content warning for COCSA and general grossness. I hopped on Twitter earlier this week like a dummy. I was probably looking for WrestleMania results or see what's new in institutional racism today, but I saw that Kanye was trending, and this time it looked worse. They had one of those Grok AI headlines where the robot writes a headline and it says, "Popular rapper Kanye West exposes incestuous homosexual relationship with underage cousin." I just was not ready to read that combination of words. I wasn't prepared. And I'm looking and I'm thinking about this tweet and I'm like, damn, this tweet's going to be bad. And then I saw the tweet and it's worse. And if you don't know what he said, bless your pea picking heart. I love your life and I'm jealous. But this is what it looked like. And these are the words that it said that were sent from his device to the internet for everybody to read. There's just a lot of, I don't even want to say this stuff. Just read it until, we can move on. Now, before we go any further into this madness, I need to make something very clear. I don't think that this is a joke at all. I take this very seriously. I've made music about trauma in my own life. I've made music about it. I've made art about it. I think it's very serious. I think it's a serious thing affecting the black community specifically. And I think one of the main problems in America is that there's an unwillingness and inability to discuss these type of matters that are prevalent in a lot of people's lives. So you would think that if I feel this way, one of the biggest black artists of our time opening up this conversation, you would think that I would see that as a good thing. Like, oh, maybe this is the first step to the utopian reality that I want. But no, for many reasons, this particular person saying this particular experience in a tweet annoys the shit out of me. Now, just imagine that this revelation had come from a big artist or black celebrity that hadn't said a bunch of Nazi shit, a bunch of dumb, self-hating, black psycho babble, or had talked shit about Jay and Beyonce's children that, to my knowledge, have not fucking harmed anybody, or tried to put his own daughter on a song with Diddy. And that's just the shit from this year. Like, let's just start there. Let's imagine how much impact this sort of discussion, this sort of revelation could have had if he hadn't been putting all this other bullshit in the way. Like, in an ideal world, when somebody admits something that's this like dark and potentially shameful and a painful thing to talk about or deal with in one's life, what we would want to do in our community is close ranks around that person and wrap our loving arms around them and help them try to heal and figure their way through it. And that's not to say that it wouldn't have been possible even with his garbage. Like, it would have been a lot harder to do, but it would have been possible. But no, because on top of his own nonsense, awful behavior, he had the fucking audacity to say this shit as part of a fucking rollout for a song. And to me, that's where this thing became fucking enraging. Because this is a prime example of how we are fucking cooked as a genre, an industry, and a motherfucking society. We are washed, cooked, sauteed, flambéed, and barbecued. Because one of the musical geniuses of our time with his team that may consist of just the little voices inside his head, and I don't mean that dismissively, sat around thinking of how are we going to promote this new song for this new project, especially now that everybody hates me. And he goes, music video? Nah. Press release? Nah. Oh, rent an arena? Did that already. Oh, how about we project it on the side of a building? Been there, done that. No. I know what I'll do. I'll tweet that I used to perform fellatio on my younger cousin. That's it. That's what we'll do. And like I said, I've discussed childhood trauma in my own work. Homeboy Sandman, an artist that I love, has laid out some of his shit very beautifully in song form. Mr. Morale, I think, does a very tasteful job of trying to engage in some of these conversations. So it can be done. Music can be made about this stuff. But this song is fucking horrendous. It's awful. This shit sound like Lonely Islands on fentanyl. This shit is ass. This shit sounds like a fucking prank. And I wish it didn't. I wish it was a thoughtful piece of art that gave this sort of subject matter the attention and weight that it deserves. But no, it's a shitty song with one of Hitler's favorite paintings as the song artwork, in case you were curious. Oh, would you like to know what it depicts? It depicts a swan having intercourse with a human woman, if you were curious. So at the end of the day, he's not taking any of this shit seriously, and I believe him. I don't think he's making this up. But for somebody like me, this becomes maddening because I take these matters very seriously. And obviously, I take them more seriously than he does. Like, look, this is a sort of revelation that has the ability to make so much of the shit that he's done make so much more sense. You remember the South Park thing with Kanye and the fish dicks and how he just completely lost his shit over that? If he has shame around this incident, this real life thing that happened to him, it would make that a fucking sensitive situation for him. That would make sense. I wonder if part of the reason that he has so many problems with Kendrick is because Kendrick did make the Mr. Morale album that really sought to deal with some of this stuff with bravery and taste. And maybe Kanye's looking at Kendrick's bravery around speaking on these topics as something that he's envious of. Maybe he wishes that he had the sort of bravery, vision, felt safe enough to make that kind of music around this sort of stuff. And maybe Kendrick getting there before him pissed him off. If you look at his history, his love-hate relationship with pornography, that makes this make a lot of sense. Where one day he wakes up and he wants to ban it all, and the next day he wakes up and he wants to start his own porn company. His relationship to it is probably twisted around these moments. This kind of experience comes with a lot of shame and confusion. And one could imagine if he's been living with all of this his whole life. On top of that, he's been rich for a very long time. You could imagine he's probably done a lot more shit on top of this that stacks up on that original shame. And in that, like I said, I wish we could celebrate his bravery, close ranks around the brother, and wrap our loving arms around him and help him heal. But he's made it where we can't do that because he put too much shit in the way. When he talks all that Nazi shit, he puts that shit in between me and being able to empathize with him. When he capes for Diddy and Cosby in ways that seeks to completely erase all the actual real world fucking harm those people have done, it puts that shit between me and my ability to empathize with him. We can't attend to Dude until Dude chooses to stop hurting people, but it don't sound like he want anybody to really attend to him or care about this shit anyway, because what he wants to use it for is to get people to listen to his very bad song. And one more thing real quick on this separating the art from the artist thing that I've seen a lot of people talk about, specifically tied to him. I would ask you this. Has Kanye ever asked you to separate his art from him as an artist? Does any artist ever ask you to do that? Does Woody Allen ask you to do that? Did R. Kelly ask you to do that? Because if they haven't asked you to do it, then you're just doing it as a favor to them because you want to. And that's fine. But then the conversation should not be about whether people should or shouldn't separate the art from the artist in general. It becomes a question of why you choose to do that sometimes and other times you choose not to do that. And I deal with this question myself too. I'm a professional wrestling fan and a lot of these dudes are fucking assholes. So it's a question I'm asking myself too. How much grace am I willing to give a person who is not asking for it? But to quote my man Justin Hunt, I don't have the answer to these questions. Like and subscribe, homie, friend. It's free. Stop playing.